Right, what's good, everyone? So I'm back again. Anyone saw my last live video? Didn't manage to get through to those fraudsters, so I thought I'd come back on and answer any questions you guys have that may be fitness related. So any questions you do have, stick it in the inbox, and I try and answer it live as best as I can for you. Okay. So I hope you guys are doing well, wherever you are in the world. I'm obviously in the UK, London. You can see on my top here, Black Stags, London. That's where I am. And we're still in lockdown, partial lockdown. So yeah, it is. Schools have only just reopened. The gyms are still closed over here. So it's not great. It's been closed for the last, gyms that is, been closed for the last maybe 3 months or so. So yeah, it's been tough times for us gym nuts, but I've managed to somehow get myself through with the stuff I have at home. You have to do what you can with what you have, and if ever there was a time for that saying, a saying I've used many times before, it's definitely now. So using what you have, doing what you can with what you have is what you have to do. I mean, if what else can you do? You can't sit back and wait. You can't sit back and do nothing, right? You have to somehow get on with it. So any fitness related questions, send it through to me, and I'll try and answer it. And in the meantime, I'd answer some. There's not many people on the live, as you probably can imagine. But my plans are to try and grow the channel as much as I can. So hopefully, sooner rather than later, my 1,500 subscriber could be 1.5 million subscribers. Who knows? But some questions I've had previously, fitness related, is obviously putting on size and staying in shape, etc., etc. There is no hard and fast rule of to both of those questions. Staying in shape is for me, it's a mind over matter thing. As is putting on size or putting on muscles or building a bigger biceps or building bigger pecs, whatever you want to do, it starts here. That's where it starts. So a lot of people talk about it, but they haven't got the mindset to go out and do it. I'll say that again. A lot of people talk about it, but they haven't got the mindset to go out and do it. And that's the difference. It's a mindset. It's changing the way you think and going for it. And that's the long and short of it. It can be no excuses. So how do I get myself in shape, and how do I stay in shape, and have I built the physique I have, etc., etc. Now, I've trained for a long time. I've trained for many, many years. Some people ask me, one of the more frequent questions I get asked is, how long does it take you to get to the size that you are now? And there is no, that's one of those questions that is similar to how long is a piece of string, right? Now, it didn't take me, I don't know how you answer that question. I don't think it took me very long to get to the size that I am. I think that the more relevant question is, how do you get to a certain size naturally? That is, because that's what I've always trained naturally. So the more relevant question would be, how have you managed to maintain the size you are right now? Getting to the size is a matter of putting the work in. You're always getting better. I think the harder you train, the more you train, and the more consistent you are with your training and nutrition. That's the difference between whether you grow or you don't. It's eating, training, sleeping to a large extent as well. You have to rest and recuperate. But if you don't eat properly, you don't have the right nutrition, And obviously, if you don't train consistently enough, then you can forget it. Obviously, like I said, the rest is a massive part of it, but without those two, it's just not going to work. So if there's one thing you can probably compromise on, which I have over the years, because I obviously work full time, and I've got a little boy, a little 12-year-old son of mine who is my little partner, my bestest mate, my best friend. But he runs me ragged. He's 12 years old, so I have to keep up with him. So my rest, what I'm alluding to is my rest period is not always, or my rest is not always as good as it should be. But somehow I managed to maintain the size and stay relatively healthy, touch wood, throughout. So firstly, if you want to get yourself into some sort of relative shape, and I know for those of us who live in the UK or live in Europe, America even, summer's on its way, and that's the time that people try to get themselves into some sort of relative shape, because they'll be walking around outside with their top off, or they're wearing a t-shirt, or whatever the case may be. A bit of vanity comes into play, I suppose. So you want to get yourself in shape. You're probably going on holiday soon. The country's opening back. Once the holiday countries reopen, we'd all probably be looking to go on holiday. And the last thing you want to do is get back from holiday, have a look at those photos, those holiday snaps, and then look at the state of me. It's disappointing, right? So you want to do that now before you go on holiday, so you can look at those snaps, those holiday snaps, and think, wow, yeah, that's me. I did that. So how do you get yourself in shape? Well, like I said, get your mind correct first, get your mind right, look at your eating plan, and get some consistency with your training. That's it, right? So for me, myself, one thing I've always been consistent with is my eating, regardless of where I've been. It hasn't always been the healthiest, I admit, but I've always tried to get the calories in, because the only way you recover from training really is to get the calories in. Obviously resting as well, as I previously mentioned, but getting those calories in helps you to recuperate, to recover from your training sessions. And if you're not doing that, then you could forget growing. You can go to the gym and train as much as you want, as hard as you want. If you're not eating right, and if you're not recuperating properly, you could forget about it. You could forget about making any sort of solid gains, muscle-wise, or muscle gains, or everything else, So that's the first thing you need to get right. Get your nutrition right. There are many places you can go on to find a diet plan. One app I would say that you should get yourself is MyFitnessPal. Have a look at that app. There's lots of advice on there about nutrition, but what it does allow you to do is to put your details in there, i.e. your height, your age, what you eat, how much you train, blah, blah, blah. Put all of that details on there, and it works out roughly the amount of food you should be consuming on a daily basis to get yourself in shape. Right, so MyFitnessPal, if you haven't got that, download it, have a look at it, and I suggest that's a start to get an app like that, to at least work out your calories, how much calories you should be consuming if you want to lose weight or gain muscles, right? So someone like myself, for me to maintain the size I am at currently, need to consume between 3,500 and 4,000 calories a day. Right now, you could get 3,500 to 4,000 calories a day by eating absolute crap, absolute junk food. Eating KFC, McDonald's, blah, blah. You could get that in probably about 2 or 3 meals by eating junk. But you're trying to build muscles here. You're trying to build quality muscles, and the answer is in that name, right? Quality. You cannot substitute with food when you're trying to put on quality muscles, right? So if you're eating junk food, which KFC, McDonald's, Burger King, that sort of food is, essentially for the most part, the calories that you're consuming is not sufficient, it's not quality calories, isn't the type of calories that you need, despite you hitting your calorie, the amount you need, is not the type of food that you need, calories you need to get yourself that quality muscle that you're trying to get. So you have to go boring, right? I know no one wants to hear that. You have to go boring. You have to start looking at your protein source, your healthy protein source. If you're a meat eater, which I am, I'm trying to wane off it a bit now, but I'm a meat eater. You don't mind fish, chicken breasts, yes. Turkey breasts, yes. Eggs, obviously a protein powder. Food that's high in protein, low in fat to a certain extent. Now, I'm not saying you can't have lamb, for example. You can't have steak, which is high in fat, also high in creatine. You can have that sort of food, provided that you probably grill it, you don't deep fat fry it, or you don't, you prepare it in a way that would get a lot of the fat out of it before you consume it. Okay? So I'm not saying that you have to eat chicken breast and rice, or fish and rice, or eggs every day, or tuna every day. I do that because it's simple. I've done it all. I've done it all my life. I've done it for all my life. I've done it for most of my life, and most of my bodybuilding career I do it because it's simple. But you could add some flavor to your food. Add some. Don't make it bland and boring. But as long as you're having a well-rounded diet of protein, carbohydrates, and vegetables, that's protein, carbohydrates, and vegetables. Those are the three things that you need throughout the day. That's a well-rounded diet right there. So let me give you a breakdown of what my daily, typical daily eating plan would be. So first thing in the morning, I'd probably have about 100 grams of oatmeal porridge. And I'd have that with, I don't drink cow's milk, so I'd have it with oat milk or coconut milk or something similar. That's my preference. I don't drink cow's milk. Long story, but I don't. That's my first meal. Second meal, I probably have about 6 egg whites on its own with some vegetables or with an avocado or something similar. All right, so it's about 6 egg whites. Sometimes I have a whole egg. It could be 6 whole eggs, depending on where I'm at. I could have 6 whole eggs as well. It's a lot of eggs. I know you're thinking, that's a lot of eggs, man. Yes, and my food bill is astronomical. So again, you have to budget for these things. But that's the food you're putting in your body, right? Your health is your wealth. Health is wealth. So the food you put in your body is massively important. So second meal would be something, as I said, would be eggs with vegetables. Third meal would be something like, it could be, I don't know, a 200-gram chicken breast, or 250 grams of white fish or tilapia, or even sometimes I go for salmon, which is very expensive in the UK, but salmon, you have to be careful with the amount because salmon's quite high in fat. When I'm dieting, I rarely use salmon, but salmon in the off season when I'm not, I'd use salmon. And I have that with, say, 100 grams of white rice or brown rice, or 200-gram potato, whether it be sweet potato or white potato, right? That's meal number 3. Meal number 4 would be probably similar to meal number 3. Could be chicken breast, turkey breast, again, fish, tuna. It could even be lamb sometimes, but it'd be about 200 gram of that, roughly. I don't measure in the off season, but it'd be roughly 200 grams with, again, I'd have that with 100 grams of rice and veg, or potato and veg, or sometimes even pasta and veg, depending on how I feel. So you can see already that my diet isn't totally restricted. It is completely doable. Just have to be consistent with it and keep the meals up. By the time I get to meal number 5, I could have a protein powder. I could have, another meal similar to a meal number 3 and 4. So again, it's keeping those meals, I would say, consistent, right? But yeah, meal number 5 could be similar to meal number 3 and 4. Very bland. Could be, some people say it's bland and boring, but to me, it's not. It's something I've done for years, right? Mind over matter. And time I get to meal number 6, it'd be something high, and that's probably maybe before my last review, my final meal, maybe just before I train or after I've trained, be something high in protein with vegetables. So I'll kind of eliminate carbs as best as I can at night and have something probably high in protein, whatever that may be. It could be tuna, it could be eggs, it could be a large steak, even could be, chicken breast again, which I try to avoid. I always try to avoid because I've had that, I have that enough. I try not to have that in the final meal. So there you go. That's my 6 meals throughout the day, roughly, to give you an idea. So if you have an idea, or it gives you a rough idea as to what I consume, and you could try and do something similar. See how it works for you. Trial and error. If it doesn't work, you make some adjustment. You could go onto something like bodybuilding.com and look up bodybuilder's diet. Pull something from there and work your diet around that. Work your diet plan around what you find on bodybuilding.com, right? And I've got no affiliation to bodybuilding.com. That's a free plug for bodybuilding.com. So I don't know how frequently that's used, but that was a go-to website back in the day for bodybuilders and anyone into getting themselves into shape, into building muscles, right? That was a go-to website. So it's still around. You go on there, have a look at a bodybuilder's diet, and look at it and tweak it to suit you. Tweak it if you've got allergies, you don't eat certain types of food. I'm sure there's vegetarian bodybuilders diet on there as well. There's loads. So the information's out there. It's not like we're back in the 70s and 80s where we didn't have the internet and whatnot and we couldn't find these. The information's out there if you really want to do it. If you really want to do it, though, it's mind over matter. It starts there. All right, I say to everyone, that's where it starts. And if you're not able to adjust your mindset to do it, then you wouldn't do it. You'd probably fail. And you'd be that one guy or girl every year going to the guy who's in shape and asking him the same question repeatedly. And believe me, he or she remembers you asking that same question 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, a year ago. And they know in their head that you're never going to commit to do it. Right? Because you haven't got that mindset to do it, or you haven't changed your mindset to do it. So that's where it starts. So this isn't difficult. It's a lifestyle. It's not easy. I never say it's easy. It's hard work, but believe me, it's worth it, right? To be in shape. It's worth it to be in shape. There's no downside to being in shape or to building, or the discipline that it teaches you as well is second to none. So yeah, I'm a massive advocate of it. And that's it really. So yeah, there's some advice for you. As for me, this year, hopefully I'll be back on stage sometime soon. Obviously COVID has dictated what's happened to the last year or so. So I'm hoping to be back on stage this year competing again. Whether I do classic or go back to one of the natural bodybuilding shows, or that's the plan. So I'll be back on stage. So look out for the videos. I'm going to try and do as much prep videos as I can. I normally start my prep about 16 weeks out, and so I'm going to try and do as I did back in 2012 and try and do log my sessions and my weekly change, how my physique changes weekly, so you guys could see, and hopefully I get some more subscribers on the page. I get some more people being active on the page, and the channel could grow. So that's it. I appreciate you guys watching today. The 2 or 3 of you that have. And if you have any questions, drop them in the inbox, and I'll try and answer. I will try and answer every single question because I don't get that many. So I will answer them as best as I can. And if there's any content you want me to speak on, let me know. Any advice that you need, let me know, and I'll come back on and do some more videos on it. So for now, I thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you are looking after yourself wherever you are in the world, staying COVID free, and I'd catch you guys on the next video. For now, take care. Peace.